Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pokemon Black. I was the PokeBeach in the last episode. I believe it was the last episode that we took on the gym leader and made our way to started our way onto the Victory Road. So we're gonna be kind of doing that today as well. A few things to note, off screen I did a bunch of training. The reason for this is because the trainers in Victory Road themselves are actually kind of higher level as opposed to people outside of Victory Road, which, for example, like this, they're like close to level 40 and closer to that number rather than closer to the middle, between like the midway point between 40 and 50, of course. So as you'll see, like I have everything, around like closer to 50 than to like 40 as I had in the last episode. You'll also notice that Gavolion's sitting in my party. The reason for this is because I gave it strength. Not to mention that unlike Timber, it's of a decent level, so if I find myself needing a higher level Pokemon because for some reason everything else I have has gotten swept or something like that, Gavolion's of a decent level and can at least take a hit or two while I'm doing whatever. Plus, Victory Road has a bunch of areas where you can use strength to push a rock into place, and then, all that other happy crap. And it also helps you, I think, get items and stuff that you have to use strength to get, otherwise you just can't get them. So, I mean, that'll be a thing. But, I did feel like the level up thing needed to be done. Probably because I don't know, maybe because I just didn't move around the EXP share enough to, balance out all the levels. I mean, Chandelure is sitting at level 50 still. Obviously I did not need to train Chandelure, it's high enough of a level as it already is. So I mean, I don't know. Anyways, it's not a Pokemon game if you aren't battling your rival close to the Elite Four or at the Elite Four or something like that. So obviously, gotta battle our rival here. I mean, whatever. I should have actually predicted the Detect though. After he did it, I kind of remembered that he had it on his Unpheasant. Not to mention that Unpheasant's actually kind of bulky. So I figured I should have gone for the Sword Stance. If I had gone for the Sword Stance turn 1, then I probably would have OHKO'd it and not have to deal with what's about to actually happen, because Protect and all those other moves are annoying because you can just do it in every other turn. So I mean, like if I had actually predicted the Detect turn 1, Sword Stanced, then Rock Slided the following turn, he would have been dead in a single shot, it would have been done, there would have been no problems. But no. So, and yes, I ended up getting Sword Stance for Excadrill. Excadrill gets it at level 42, and I believe in the last episode Excadrill was sitting at level 41, so it was just about to get it, but I mean, whatever. So I mean, also, you'll notice in this battle, and I mentioned this before, X-Scissor actually does a lot of work when it comes to Excadrill, and at least through main game, or even post game, for Black and White, and probably even Black and White too. Just because, like, having something as powerful as Excadrill, on top of that, the coverage that you can kind of get off of it, is pretty good. Not to mention it kind of covers your little grass weakness, so I mean, I don't know. It's just something that I've always used whenever I played through Black and White, or even Black and White 2 if I had the option. So I mean, I don't know, you can call me weird I guess if you want to, it's just something that I find to be really, really good. So I mean, can't really argue with that logic if it works, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what else to say. I mean, like, when it comes to my teams, I like to plan them out for my LPs. I don't really like walking into a game and being like, okay, let's do this. Like, I really don't know why people would really do that. Unless you're doing like a Nuzlocke or something, in which case you're probably using an edited ROM in order to like randomly generate things. So, I mean, if you're doing that, then you're already wanting to do random crap. So, I mean, whatever. But I mean, I'm not really a fan of those whole like Nuzlocke things. Don't get me wrong; they're obviously meant to be challenging and shit, but they're not exactly something that I enjoy doing personally. I might do one on my channel at some point though. I'm not entirely sure. It's a big maybe. I feel like I should mention this. You also really do want to come off to the side because there's a lot of good things here that you would definitely want to get, and you'll see what I mean probably in the next like 2 or 3 minutes. There are 2 very good items here, so I do recommend doing that. Also, I'm switching out here because I don't know when Sock actually gets close combat, and that was very risky of me to stay in on, because even if I had sword stance up just to make sure I got through its bulk, I would have had to worry about it being, what the hell is it called, sturdy, because they have that, and it would have survived and being able to just punch me in the face and kill me, because, you know, Steel's weak to fighting, and I didn't want to deal with that, so I kind of just predicted a fighting move and went into Chandelure. This person wants to trade with me on XMY right now, I don't know why. But yeah, as you saw, you got a Dawnstone. That is not the only cool thing that you get in this area. It's one of the 2. Well, I guess in a way you could say 3. There's another thing here that's worth getting. But, yeah. It's great to multitask, by the way. I'm sitting here trying to finish my Pokédex on X and Y again because I restarted my save file. And, you know, oh, I got a critical catch too. That's something I feel like I should talk about. People don't seem to understand this, or they don't try it. Critical catches, I think, depend on a few different things. Their normal chance, the normal chance of you getting an actual critical catch, I think is like a very specified number. But it can be increased with button presses, and a lot of people actually don't like to believe that button presses helps with the whole catching Pokemon thing. I strongly disagree, and I've always been this way. I have always been this way. Ever since I was a kid, I used to always hold up an A, because I remember reading about it online, and it's always proven to work for me to an extent. Now, this is proven even further in Generation 5. I'm going to interrupt myself though for a second. You also get a Duststone and Roar in that area, so that's why I recommend that you strongly go in there and get that, because Duststones are pretty hard to find unless you feel like sitting there for 3 hours, going through dust clouds, getting an unlimited amount of gems, finding all of the Drillburs, all of the extra drills. I think you can even get Onyxes and stuff like that. Like, it's not worth doing the dust clouds to get the stones. It's a free dust stone to get your Chandelure if you need to. Same goes for Honchkrow, Miss Magius, anything else you really want. Dawnstones are also pretty hard to come by, so I do recommend you go in that area. Anyways, back onto the critical capture thing. Like I said, a lot of people don't seem to believe that, so let me kind of further prove that it probably does. I don't have like hard evidence to prove that it actually does affect it, but there is a thing in Black and White. I don't know if it applies to later games or not, specifically anyways, but I do know that in Black and White, when it comes to RNG abuse, button presses actually do affect the game. And what I mean by that is whenever you do through the RNG recorder to find your seed, you can add on button presses from when you start the game to when you load it up and all that other, you know. And these button presses allow you to find a specific seed that you want even faster, because you're doing more to, you know, make it even more likely to find the seed that you want. So if you want like a shiny Pokemon frame, even if you don't care about the IVs, I mean, then that also speeds things up quite significantly. But if you care about the IVs, obviously it's going to make it a little more difficult. But like, let's just for hypothetical, if you were to be holding A, L, and R whenever you press the A button to start up the game, that affects the game's seed and allows you to find the frame or the seed that you want to find, assuming you set up the date and the time correctly and all that other crap. But as a result, it actually helps affect your actual seed. And as a result, it helps you get to the shiny and all that other happy crap. So yes, in a way, button presses do actually affect your game. Something that I've noticed, I press the up and A button really weird. I use my pointer finger and my pinky finger. I usually have my DS on a flat surface, and I usually press both buttons with both fingers at the same time, because different hands, you're obviously, you know, controlling one slightly before the other. And I try to do it with just one hand just because of that. But that's how it's always worked for me. I've always done that. For example, I don't expect anyone to really believe me, of course, because, you know, this is all just me speaking my own mind, my own, you know, whatever. I've never proven it, so I mean, you're gonna have to take it whether you, like, you know, you either take it as it is or you just don't believe it. So I don't really care either way. I believe it was Black and White 2. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was Black and White 2 because Black and White 2 had the shiny charm, and I wanted to get it, and I was just running around trying to catch Pokemon, and like I said, it's become a habit for me to press up an A whenever it comes to catching Pokemon, and there was a time when I got like 5 critical captures in a row because I was pressing up A. And I don't know why, like, I think it requires a very specific or precise timing on how you press it, like, you know how whenever it says so-and-so threw a Pokeball or used a Pokeball or whatever, the second that, like, you press the A button or whatever, like, there's, like, a time frame there, I'm assuming, that determines whether or not a critical capture can actually be achieved, things like that, and if you have the button presses correct or whatever, it'll result in a crit catch. The reason why I believe this is actually a thing is because of what happened in Black and White or Black and White 2, whichever game it was. I'm pretty sure it was probably Black and White 2, just because, you know, trying to finish the Pokédex and catching a lot of Pokemon. But it's something that I strongly believe to actually be a thing, and I felt like I actually should talk about it, just because, you know, it's something that a lot of people have been kind of going back and forth on. I know that a lot of people do things like down B, stuff like that, and I don't really blame anyone for doing it. I mean, why not? But, I mean, at the same time, it's like, I mean, it works. It really does work, and at least for me, it has through personal, you know, experience and whatnot. But I mean, it's something that I strongly recommend that people actually try and do. I'm not saying do it with like the pinky and the pointer finger if you want. You can do it however the fuck you really want to. But I mean, I really don't know what else to say. Like, it's something that's always worked for me. And with critical captures being introduced in Generation 5 and continuing on through Generation 5 in the later half and into X and Y, I just feel like it was improved upon. The button presses became more of a relevant thing in accordance or whatever to the actual game. So I mean, I don't know. It's just something that I can't really test. It's just something that I've always done, and it's actually resulted in plenty of critical captures for me. Outside of, like, okay, if I never push the buttons, if I'm just like, oh, throw a Pokeball or whatever, I always feel like the odds of me getting a critical capture is really, really unlikely. And I really don't like those odds, of course. So, I mean, it's like, okay, I don't really want to just be like, well, if I can get one, why should I not push the buttons? Not to mention, like, some people might call pressing up A, down B, L, A, whatever, useless when it comes to catching a Pokemon, and I strongly disagree in the sense that, you know, like, people, okay, think about it this way, people like to go, oh, A, in a Pokemon Center. Well, that's not going to really make the text go any faster, and let alone healing the Pokemon faster. So why do you do it? Well, because you just, it's kind of a habit. Everyone seems to do it. So, I mean, you can't really bash on people that do, like, the up A, down B, whatever shit for catching Pokemon. And, like, it's something that I feel like if you're already doing the A thing at the Pokemon Center, you might as well fucking do the up A thing or something whenever it comes to catching a Pokemon, because, I mean, why not? I mean, if it helps, and that's kind of why I do it. I'm sure you've already, like, you know, aside from my random banter that I've actually spent more time on than I thought I ever actually would, I'm sure you've noticed that there are a few boulders around here with little holes next to them, and that's why we have PokeBeach with us, is to push boulders into those holes. It'll allow you to maneuver through here later on, like if you decide you need to go back through here for either a specific Pokemon or whatever. It'll help you get to whatever you need. And you won't ever have to use strength again, because you only have to use it once. You just strength, put them into the hole, and they're done. They don't ever pop back out again, which is really cool. So that's partly why I brought PokeBeach along. On top of that, I mentioned this a long time ago, if you watched any of my previous episodes, Terrakion, one of the 3 musketeers, is in this cave, and you need strength to get to it, so might as well strength it up and, you know, get that boulder pushed in so that way we can get it in the next, well, not in the next episode, but in a later episode. Anyways, what we're going to be doing in the next episode is continuing through Victory Road and hopefully making our way to the very, very top. So yeah, if you haven't already, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and until next time, this is the PokeGamer signing out.